Hi, guys, and welcome to Moon Mercy's podcast, where we strive to heal hearts while inspiring lives. So, guys, I hope that you're doing great. Me personally, I'm doing great, and I'm learning many things from different places, but I've been learning, to be honest. And I hope that you guys are really learning something from my podcasts, and you are really trying to become good people in your relationships. So today we are going to talk about this topic. It is really not popular in Africa, maybe in our places, and I found out that my friends are not even aware of what that is. So this is why I decided to explain to you what it is and help you to understand why we behave in certain ways in our relationships and the cause of it. So let's start. Our topic today is attachment styles. Usually, attachment styles are patterns of how we emotionally bond with others, which are influenced with how we related with our caregivers or parents, the people who took care of us while we were still young. This attachment style theory explains that if maybe our relationship explain that our relationship with our caregivers while we were still young even affects us in our adult relationships, mainly romantic relationships. So let's tackle in and understand what first is attachment style, is types, and how we can and discover who we are. This is a more discovery way of who we are. So let's start. I don't even know where to start because I feel like I'm filled with many information which I have to convey in a few minutes. Let's start. Attachment styles, developed by this guy called John Bowlby and was later developed by Mary Ainsworth. What they did an experiment on kids and how they related with their parents, and they come up with this theory which I'm going to narrate now. First, these attachments are divided into two types. There is secure attachment and insecure attachment style. Let's talk about secure attachment style. So, people with secure attachment style are those people whom their parents have met their needs wholly, or they have met all of their needs, either financially and emotionally, but more of emotional levels, where your parents were there for you, listen to you. Like those people who their parents have been there for them tend to have this secure attachment. Let me give you a bit of characteristics of secure attached kids. There's kids who have curiosity and they're willing to explore. There's kids who seek comfort when they're upset. Like, there's kids whom, when they're upset, they can learn to their moms or their dads for comfort. They accept being comforted when it is given. They are kind. And there's kids or people tend to have that social and positive social skills and positive relationship with other people, either parents, siblings, teachers, and friends in general. So, secure attachments in adults, it is shown by these people who feel comfortable with intimacy and are able to trust and rely on their partners. There's people who have a positive view of themselves and others, and there's people who believe that they deserve love and care. We all know there's people who in romantic relationships, they're caring, they're trusting, like they know that they deserve love and care, and they know that the person they're dating also deserve the same, and they're really willing to give that kind of love. There's people also they are very tolerant of frustration. They are very empathy. They have a high level of empathy and an understanding of emotion, either theirs or of others, and they really trust. They are optimistic, and they are full of hope. We all know those kind of people in our societies or in our relationship, people who we have dated, and these people tend to we some people tend to think that they're boring because there is no drama in their relationships. They're always there, trusting, caring. You can't find some dramas within their relationships. So let's continue with what we call insecure attachment styles. So let's first talk about what causes a person to have an insecure attachment, being insecure. The causes of these attachments in kids includes trauma, neglect, early separation from parents, long hospitalization, inconsistency in parenting and emotional response, a caregiver with a depression, and an inexperienced mother. Usually, insecure attached people, you might find that in their childhood they met some traumas. They were neglected with their parents, or they were separated from their parents while they're still young, or even they had inexperienced parents who were not able to take care of them, mainly emotionally. So if this person had met these obstacles in his or her childhood, they're likely to become insecure attached. So insecure attachments are also subdivided into three categories. The first category is anxious attachment. So let's talk about characteristics of anxious people. Anxious people, they tend to be they tend to always fear their partner's vulnerability, and they fear rejection. These people also seek constant reassurance and validation, and may become overly dependent on their partners. We all know there's people who fear that they're going to be rejected and they're not going to get another partner. These people tend to feel alone whenever they're not in relationships. This causes them to be serial daters. Serial daters, there's people who you break up with this person and then tomorrow you jump to another person, not because you love them, but because you feel alone when you're not in relationships. If you are anxious attached, you will be this person who love to be close to their romantic partners and have the capacity of great intimacy. If you are also an anxious attached person, you often fear that your partner might leave you, and if there is a certain disagreement in the relationship, you might feel like everything is done. Now this person is leaving you, and you would feel that kind of fear, depression, and anxiety would lays at the same time. Also, there's people, let me give you an example. There's people whom they're in a relationship and then they call their partners for the first time. Maybe the partner is talking with another person, and the second time he's still talking to another person. And then after after like 1 hour, when the partner calls back, he would find that the girlfriend is like is really mad that he hadn't took the phone. She's mad that maybe he was cheating, which would not be the case, but because she always fears that that he might leave her, then if anything or any sign showing that he's cheating, then causes this person to be mad, hence anxiety increasing and all of that. These are anxious attached people. Usually, these anxious attached people, it is because in their childhood their parents met their needs inconsistently. Like, look at these kids who get praise or who gets gifts whenever they have the high grades in the school. If you don't get high grades, you're not getting new shoes. If you don't get high grades in the class, you are not getting this. So this causes them to feel like they need to do something in order to be accepted or loved, right? This is why whenever their partners shows any sign, even though it could not be true, that they are cheating, they feel like they have done something wrong, hence anxiety, hence being mad, and all of that. Let's continue with another subtype of insecure attachments. This subtype is avoidant attached people. The person to be avoidant, this is caused when they were young, their parents never met their needs. Like those people who had parents who were always away on their work missions or whatever, and they were never there in their lives. This causes the kids to become independent, and the kids become those people who thinks that they can do everything for themselves and that they don't need people in their lives. So people with avoidant attachment style, they tend to avoid emotional closeness and intimacy. Like they fear being vulnerable and they prefer independence. And they often downplay the importance of relationships and may have difficulty expressing their emotions. We all know there's people whom in relationships they're not consistent. Today they are okay, tomorrow they're not. Like there's people who draws, who don't like closeness, you know. There's people whom you date for the first week, everything is good, but just because as the days are coming, you're starting to get close, this person starts to pull away because they're not really comfortable with closeness. Also, there's people who tend to get tired of the relationship. Like just because as the time comes, you're starting to get attached, and then because of that, they get tired. They start to fear that if they start getting fear or anxiety of being attached to a person, then they'll move and they just break up with you. There's people who tend to really get tired of the relationship and they can't even date a person for more than 2 or 3 months. There's people also, even though they want to maintain the relationship, the independence and self-sufficiency also comes at the first, which causes them to break up quickly because they don't want to lose this independence. We all know there's people whom mainly guys tend to be avoidance. I know I've seen some guys who are anxious or secure, but I think I know many guys who are avoidance. And there's guy. This is why we say that these guys are not romantic. It is not because they are not romantic, but they're avoidance. Like they don't like intimacy or that closeness. This is why you find that they are emotionally unavailable, and this causes some people to break up with them because they are emotionally unavailable. So if you are avoidant, even though you want to be close to others, you feel uncomfortable with too much closeness and tend to keep your partner at arm's length. Like there are those people whom they call you, maybe you're dating this person, and then he calls you on Monday. And then a whole week passes without talking to you, and they're feeling okay. And then after like Sunday, they call you again. Like they're not that consistent in the relationship. They want you to be there as a girlfriend, but they don't want that closeness, that time to spend more time with you, either on the phone or physically. Like they want to keep that relationship, and they don't spend their time worrying about being rejected because they feel like they don't deserve love in the first place. They don't feel like you are even there. Like they don't feel like you would even reject them or fear that you will reject them. If you do, they feel like, okay, even my parents were never there for me, so who are you? Who am I to think that you could remain here? Like they would never worry about that. It feels like they always wait for the time you get tired of them and go. And this is where they are different from anxious people. Anxious people fear being rejected because because while they're still young, they were not sure if either their parents will be there for them or not. But for avoidant people, because their parents were never there for them, They don't fear rejection because they've been rejected much time, that they have normalized that. This is why they keep you there. If you want to go, cool. If you don't want, remain. That's it. So this third type of insecure attached people, it is fearful avoidance. The people with fearful avoidance, it is called fearful avoidant or disorganized. Those people with fearful avoidant or disorganized, they combines both avoidance and anxious at the same time. These people, they have conflict issues with their minds, with themselves. They prefer closeness, but also they want their independence. So these people, they might want emotional connection, but also fear rejection and abandonment. These people tend to have trust issues, and they have difficulty forming and maintaining relationships. Like this, there are these people whom it is really difficult for them to maintain relationships. They're always there, feeling like I don't deserve this, but I want this. Like they have that kind of fight with themselves, causing them to be disorganized. They might be today feeling like they want to be close to you, but then tomorrow they wake up and closeness is not comfortable anymore. They remove. After like 3 days, they feel like they want to be comfortable with close with you. After 3 days, they remove again. So they tend to have difficulty forming and maintaining relationships. Also, they have difficulty in trusting others. They really have the fear of avoidance, have really trust issues. Also, they have a negative view of themselves, and they have a negative view of everything else. And they have difficulty regulating their emotions, and they have this problem of the association. Usually, fear of avoidance tend to like their own place. They're not introverts. Let's try to separate the two. They're not intro. Okay, they feel like introverts like their own places, but they associate with the world, and they like keeping things to themselves. So fearful avoidance, also they tend to get tired of the relationship easier, and they have this kind of thing in their mind that they want a person. There is this person who is waiting for them, or who is a 10 in what they want. Like they're dating this person, but if there comes another person who have something more to the person compared to the person they're dating, they will literally leave that person they're dating to the other person. And if the other person they started dating that at the time, there comes another person who have something better than him, they would go to him. Like they're not really organized in their mind. Okay, they're not really that organized in their emotions. So they always think that there's someone better out there for them, which causes them to not last in relationships, because if you do something wrong, they'll be like, you're not even the one I wanted. So they goes to another person, and then they continue the circle till the end. So there is also these are the really three types of insecure attachments. So there is also something I want to tackle on, but will be also talked on the next part of this attachment style theory episode. It is the avoidant anxious trap. What happens, because most of the time we find that anxious and avoidant people are together, causing some relationship problems in the some behaviors and some bad behaviors in relationships, all causing all the fights and dramas that we experience in the relationships. So guys, yeah, we will talk about that in the second episode. So as a conclusion, attachment styles develop during our childhood based on our experiences with caregivers, and these styles influence our adult relationships and how we interact with others. So it is important to understand our own attachment style and how it might impact our relationships. as well as being aware of our partner's attachment style for better communication and understanding. So, guys, we have seen that there are two main types of attachments, secure and insecure, and you have find that in insecure there is three subtypes, which are anxious, avoidant, and fearful avoidant. So, guys, I hope that you have really learned something in this attachment style, and I hope that I wish that you could tell me what are your attachment style, what is your partner's attachment style, and if you knew this theory before listening to this podcast. If not, what have you learned? Thank you, guys. I love you, and please take care.